Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's take a moment to thank Legislator Schott for joining our team here. And
Thank
welcome
you for
every,
having me.
welcome everybody to the 2026 session. Take it, everybody's had a chance to look over the minutes. First by Legislator Walpole, second by Legislator Connolly. All in favor? Any opposed? Carries, thank you. On to resolutions, GC1, resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Department of Public Defender voluntary defined contribution. Got a first by Legislator Holst. Second by Legislator Wilmot. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries, thank you very much. PS1, resolution authorizing modification of capital project number 1625 to renovate the E911 Center. First by Legislator Walpole, second by Legislator Connolly. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries, thank you. PS2, resolution authorizing reclassification of one position in the district attorney's office. First by Legislator Holst, second by Legislator Walpole. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries, thank you. I would entertain a motion to move HS 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 of the block. First by Legislator Walpole, second by Legislator Connolly.
Through what?
HS 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Can we discuss amongst the group? If you're gonna move it as a block, I have some questions.
Okay.
Well, my first question, you could maybe be answered easily because I didn't make the meeting. Can you explain the automotive supply and repair account for the county vehicle?
What resolution?
HS 2.
That's insurance recovery. There was an accident.
Yeah.
So that's all it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Insurance.
Okay, well, I didn't go back
I
to the
didn't
meeting.
think that other program was on the agenda.
Huh?
I didn't think that other program was on the agenda. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
insurance.
Yeah, okay, and then, HS 6.
Okay.
Okay, so a couple interesting things. Legends Field were always on EDP, and then suddenly it's gone to Human Services. Why?
But,
It's because it goes under Youth Bureau.
Okay, but previous to that, it was always on EDP. I went all the way with it, right from beginning to end.
the acquisition and initial repairs of the field was spearheaded by the Community Development Planning Department. Now that it's under operations, it's in the Recreation Department under the youth field, so that's why it's been switched over here.
Okay, and I mean,
Or switched to, yeah.
we
Human Services.
basically let this out for next to nothing. And now we're gonna spend more money. This wasn't identified when we took it over. It was kitchen problems, and what was the other issue? At Legends
Field lighting.
Field lighting.
Is the field, but the field lighting had been in question a long time.
Mhm.
So is the rent changing?
We're gaining more revenue because we have school districts now contracted to use the field.
How much more revenue?
It was like,
Like 25,000, I think.
yeah, it was
A year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the Sioux City School District.
in addition to what was already
Yeah.
contracted out.
Now we have 2 more school districts that are going to be using it as well. We're negotiating. with
I
them.
hope so, because we're in a 5-year really bad contract, right? Are we locked in for 5 years?
usually are, those are usually yearly renewable for up to 5 years.
Is it a yearly renewable up to 5, or is it a 5-year contract?
Do you remember, Tim? The contract for Legends. Management. Is that a 5-year contract or is it
believe it's a
1 year renewable?
I think it's, yeah, I think
We'd
it's
have to look
three.
at the I believe it's a three-year
No,
contract with
I
renewal
believe
years.
it's a 5-year.
Yeah, I think it's a 3-year with 2 additional renewal years that are on there as optional.
So at the existing price, there isn't even a step-up scale on that, right?
Yeah, so it's $75,000 a year per year for 5 years.
Well, we put that out to bid.
Yeah. Holly, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, we put that out to bid. That was the highest contract price we got.
That was like the only one.
We got 2. We sent
there
it
was-
out. We got 2.
But now they can serve alcoholic beverages, correct?
They were doing that before.
They
were
they
doing
did,
liquor license.
yes.
Beer and wine license.
And we're gonna upgrade the kitchen. I think we've like given them everything and then some, but
Yeah, we did solicit almost 15 different companies throughout a 3-state region to see if they'd be interested in running these tournaments. We did only get 2 responses, and this was the highest of the 2, just as a point. And we do own,
probably better
we
off
do own,
maintaining it ourselves at this point. So they're making all the money. We've got all the hassle. We got surfaces, we've got lighting, we've got maintenance, we've got paving. I mean, I'd love to get in and deal with you. I saw that look, Tim. Don't worry.
Legislator Walpole.
I was under the impression they were taking care of the maintenance.
No, they're not.
They're taking care of some of the
some of the maintenance, yeah. I would say,
Are they doing the mowing?
for example, the kitchen being owned by, all those things are our assets. That is our kitchen. We own it. So I would say the repairs to that are
We
on
own
us.
everything.
Yes.
Now, the mowing's done by somebody else, am I right?
It's contracted out. That's correct.
We don't pay for that, they are.
Correct. That's correct.
They ought to.
Yeah. The bead maintenance, they handle a lot of that as well.
The what maintenance?
Bead maintenance, so on turf, they have that beads that they put inside the turf, and so they handle that.
I can't speak to the church. Okay,
Answered?
I hope, not really, but I hope we don't spend much more money over there.
Start bringing the revenue in.
Yeah.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
I-
Any opposed? Carries.
One after the
BP 1, resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Workforce Development, separation of project salaries. You got a first from legislator Walpole, second from legislator Connolly. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries. BP 2, resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Workforce Development, accept additional revenue for New York State System Change, Inclusive Opportunities Network. First by legislator Holst, second by legislator Connolly. Any discussion?
Jay, can you give me an overview of what this is?
I cannot, at this moment, it's an acceptance of $30,000.
Which one is it?
From workforce development?
Oh,
It's,
Isn't it money
Workforce,
to
yes, the
help
workforce
people?
is accepting additional revenue from New York State.
Okay.
from New York
Well,
State,
that's
for
a good thing.
in the amount of $30,000.
Yeah, we're accepting money.
Except the money.
All in favor? Any opposed? Carries. HE1, resolution authorizing budget modification, funds disbursement through the North Country Heart Network Delivery Partner Agreement. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Conley.
Other questions? So, as I understand it, people have to participate in these sessions, but they're outside of Oswego County. And we're getting the money? Is that local? Am I reading it wrong? Is it? We'd be reimbursed.
It passed through its jurisdictional committee, And as a rule, if it passes through its jurisdictional committee, unless I hear something prior to F&P, I pass it through to the legislative floor.
Oh, I'm not worried about whether it's passing, I'm just trying to understand it.
You're more than welcome to reach out to the, health director or the health chairman. That's where I would go if I had questions about that. That's what I do when I question something that's on F&P. I go directly to the chairman of that committee.
Okay.
I mean, I'd be more than happy to look into it. We can get some information on it.
No, well, good, thank you.
That's what I would do.
I don't know that we teach the classes out in these other areas, but it's part of a regional funding.
Well, it looks like a good thing, I
yeah.
just didn't understand why it's outside the town.
I think it includes other counties within the program.
Okay.
All right, well, this covers the classes that we're required to teach to be part of the program.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. HE2, resolution authorizing budget modification for preschool transportation. This we all know about. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holst. Any discussion? You know what this is about, don't you? I figured you did. Phil, do you have an update on this? I mean, we're stuck with paying this regardless, correct?
Yeah, this is part of our plan when we adopted the 26 budget was to use this money from mobility management in the state health department. We learned we could apply it towards the transportation costs in the health department. This unfortunately funds one of those mandates that we should not have to pay for. This is New York State sets the rates, the school districts pick the kids, the parents pick where they go, and we have no say in any of it. We just have to pay for their transportation. And it's been going up terribly over the last several years. It's very expensive. It's a $10 million program, and transportation is a big part of that. So mobility management identifying that this money that comes to them could be used for this program is a big help to help keep our property tax levy down in 26. And this is annual money we get. We can continue to do this until this money doesn't come in again.
Bill, could we meet with the superintendent and ask if there's some way this can be streamlined and
We've already done that. One of the first things, my first year as administrator, I met with the superintendents to see if they'd be interested in bidding on this on the transportation costs.
but I mean, it's to say we're gonna go here, there, everywhere. I mean,
That's the
outside of the county.
Yep, New York State law says the parents can pick wherever they want to go, even outside the county.
Yeah.
We have to provide that transportation.
I can give you a for instance for that. I've known several different people in Central Square. At one point, they chose to have their children go to Bishop Rhines or Bishop Ludden. And the school district has to transport them because it's part of the state mandate that transportation be given for those students. So if that's where they chose to go, the school has to transport them to wherever they choose to go. And
This is
instead
for
of,
any student?
yeah,
This is for,
it's for any student. Now, the parents actually obviously have to pay for that schooling out of their pockets, but the
This is the
transportation part of it has to be,
Actually, we pay some of the tuition.
actually, yeah, there's,
for private school?
This is a preschool
This is
special
for preschool,
education.
only preschool.
This is for
Preschool
only
special
preschool.
education.
Right, so these are special needs.
Yeah.
Special.
So it's also under federal.
so we're.
These are federal accommodation plans.
No, this is the
New York.
state.
It's the state mandates we pay.
The state mandates we pay for.
But special needs fall under special
Isn't it just
accommodation.
all preschool?
It is actually.
It's all
It is.
preschool, not just special needs.
Oh, I thought it
Yeah.
was special needs only. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the state, it says we have to pay for it.
It's
I don't
federal
understand, me
accommodation.
personally, I don't understand why the school district doesn't have to pay for this. It doesn't make sense to me because obviously I was under the assumption that the school district should have to do this, but according to the discussions we've had with Phil over this,
Counties have been fighting this for years.
Yeah.
And it's bad public policy that you don't align responsibility for paying with the responsibility of the people who make the decisions for the program. Because then they can just make any decision they want. They don't have to care about the cost because they know somebody else got to pay for it. So counties have been fighting this ever since I worked for the county. And the state won't budge on the mandate. They assign the costs to the counties, even though we have the only role we have in it is the health department is allowed to sit in on meetings with the kids who are special needs in the program. And sit in on that coordinating committee, but they don't have a say in it or any decision-making authority over it.
Legislator Walpole.
Actually, part of my question was answered. It just seems that we're the middle person here and something we have no control over.
We're the bank.
Right.
One more question, please.
Sure.
So 32% increase, is that from the state? Is that why the state?
That's an increase in the number of transportation costs, the number of kids, and there may have been a rate increase by the state. as
It's
well.
based on the number of, it's no different than community college. The community college costs are, we as the county transfer those costs to the towns. The towns have to, however many students within that town, the county's responsible to pay a portion of the tuition and for community.
Yeah, the state sets the rates, and some of the transportation costs also reimburse parents for transporting their own child or children. Some use other modes of transportation, and it can be a parental reimbursement as well.
Very good. So necessary evil. All in favor? Any opposed? Carries. HE3 resolution authorizing budget modification for Jewel settlement funds. This is money coming to us for the settlement of the tape company. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Conley.
Phil, am I supposed to be able to ask questions in this meeting?
Absolutely. You're more than welcome.
Okay, so the
And
breakdown.
I'm the chairman, not Phil. Yes, you're
I'm
absolutely,
still confident asking Phil questions.
you're
so-
absolutely,
All right, 75,000 of this is going to the sheriff's department. Are they going to take classes into the schools? How is this breakdown? So if you wouldn't mind,
This is
because the opioid money was very misty to me as well.
This was a plan put together by Vera Dunsmore and her team as to how to use this Jewel settlement money.
Okay.
So they broke it out here in collaboration with law. That's when they have to do an enforcement action on someone who's perhaps selling it illegally to minors. The rest of it is, then there's administrative hearings for those people. They're using a lot of it for education. It's simply to cover the costs, and specifically the sheriff's department. It just covers their costs for any cooperation they have to give to go with the health department on an enforcement action.
Is there some backup for breaking the habit with these kids for mental health counseling, addiction counseling?
In other words, measuring the effectiveness of the program.
Yes.
Well, this is the first year of this, so sure Vera will do that. But we can talk to her and find out how they're going to measure the effectiveness of it.
Okay. Thank you.
I got a first and a second on that, correct?
Yep.
All in favor? Any opposed? Carries. IT1, resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Solid Waste, increasing capital project, 1025. That's first by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Conway. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries. On to F&P. FP1, resolution designating the county, Oswego County Treasurer as the responsible official to correct clerical errors and in essential fact under real property law, tax 556. I got a first by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holes.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, just real quick, if there's a handful of them, that's it. So there's not very many. This is just something as a sales thing.
I was actually gonna
I
elaborate.
can't remember the last time I did one.
Yeah, this is less than $2,500, not to exceed $2,500, and it is we as a body designate Treasurer Gardner to handle this.
Doesn't happen.
Any other questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries. FP2, resolution adopting an investment policy and designating banks and depositories of county funds. This is a standard yearly resolution we passed to authorize the treasurer to put funds where they need to be in banks and investments. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Hulse.
Question,
Any discussion?
so how much is actually in the reserve?
It's all broken down. There's several, a lot of the banks, and I can get you all that information.
We have several different depositories
Mhm.
that we have. The treasurer oversees all that. And we also have, some funding resources, well, not funding resources. We have investment, companies that work in our behalf. We switched to that policy, some years back because versus a CD where we're getting 1%, the investment policies we were making was go ahead, Ken.
Well, just real quick too, when you mentioned that, if you ask about fund balance, obviously that's like a bouncing ball because we pay bills, goes up one time, down the next. We're retrieving tax dollars, so that obviously we're going to have a lot more in our fund balance. What I do as a rule of thumb, you're looking at between 50 and 60 million, but at any point it could be a lot less or a lot more based on how we're pulling in the money. So that's what I mean, and then we invest from that process.
Okay.
So we're continuously moving around from bank to bank, investment because of, if we're short because people haven't paid their taxes, we still have to make payroll, usually at the end of the year, we run really short, but we're still in a safe place, then our fund balance is lower. So a lot of people say, well, how much is the fund balance? Well, if I did a snapshot in time, I could give it to you right now, probably in a second, but it's gonna change tomorrow. It's gonna change next week because everything will change.
But there's a minimum where you go, oh, something.
Oh, goodness.
The investment policy sets maximum limits for each bank. The county has restrictions on the type of institution or investment vehicle it can use. Investments can't be put in savings banks, for example. It has to be a commercial bank. The bank has to collateralize the county's deposits because the FDIC limits are insufficient normally. They have to collateralize the county's deposits by placing treasuries or other securities with a third bank. That's so if you put money in Key Bank, they, for example, may have to collateralize by making a similar pledge to M&T Bank to back up the municipal deposits. So that's required by law. So that and then the treasurer's point, fund balance can change. Taxes are out for collection right now. They're in the hands of the collectors, so the county's not seeing any money on the bills that were just issued until those are turned over back to the treasurer's office.
And when I first started, we actually, we got with a company, I hired a company, it's called 3+1, and it's total transparency of where the money is. It's we meet every quarter, just so everybody knows that there's no, total transparency. It's been working out very well since we started this. And they don't offer investment. They offer go-between for investing. They do not offer suggestions on how to invest. And we don't invest in junk bonds or anything like that. So it's all really regulated.
Phil?
Yes, and regarding your question on minimums, maximums. We do have a fund balance policy. It doesn't apply to reserves, it's just a fund balance, where if the year-end fund balance falls below a certain percentage of your operating budget, or if it's above a certain percentage, it requires me to develop a plan to, if it's low, mitigate that through this committee to enact it. If it's too high, what should we do to bring that fund balance down? That usually involves moving money into reserves. My mantra is when times are good, plan for when times are bad. So if you have good amount of fund balance over the percentage, move it into reserves so that as projects come up that we have to do, we can pull money from reserves rather than put it on the tax levy.
Very good. I have a first and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Carries, thank you. On to FP3, resolution authorizing execution of agreement with the Sheriff Silver Star Association. This ratify the contract with the Silver Star, it allows the chairman to execute the agreement. This is for 2026, 2027, and 2028. Mayor, first by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Connolly. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries. Thank you very much. I'd like to give a thanks to Paul, legislator Connolly, legislator Walpole, for their services in hammering this agreement out.
Credit goes to Julie, who's.
And
Believe me, we just try
and
to run interference to make sure.
our director, Director Bell, for all that they've done to get this done. So,
I appreciate other help.
yeah, I know it was a lot, and it was.
Two more laps.
I appreciate that very much. On to committee review and decision. We have a request to set salary for community behavioral health specialist. Julie, would you like to give us a little bit on this?
Our mental health hygiene director is here as well, but the candidate I guess chosen, he has 10 years of experience, and so given that, moving from one unit to the next, we thought it was a feasible rate of 61,000.
Yeah, SP 30 at 61,196.
Yep.
Very good. Got a motion to approve by legislator Walpole, a second by legislator Holst. All in favor? Any opposed? No carries. We have a request, set salary for Director of Fiscal Management. That is this is for Lee. Put this in, set the salary
80,000.
80,000.
The previous director retired, and so this is a new person that was kind of in the lower level promoted into this one,
And that's, okay. So I have a motion to approve by legislator Holst, second by legislator Walpole. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. We have a request to set salary for Director of Family Services. That is also through Lee Sullivan. This is Director of Integrated Services Administration, S250, for an annual rate of 75,000. It has been vetted through.
This one's 85.
85.
85?
Skip one.
Oh, I skipped one. Sorry, my bad. Yep, 85,625. And it has been vetted through,
Yeah,
through Julie.
yeah, again, longstanding employee, promoted up through the ranks.
Yes, Director of Family Services, very good.
Due to retirement.
I'm sorry,
Due
due
to
to
retirement.
retirement.
Motion approved.
First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Conley. All in favor? Right? Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. Let's see. So, yes, now on to, request to set salary director of integrated services administration. That's the one, 475,000.
Yes.
Yes. Vetted through Julie's office.
Yeah.
For, Commissioner, Sullivan.
Mhm.
First by legislator Walpole.
Sorry.
Second by legislator Wilmot. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Very good. We have a request to set salary for quality assurance and compliance administrator. This is through workforce development.
Nope.
Nope.
It's the new position that was created, DSS during budget, and so existing
Did I miss one? I
employee,
must have missed it.
that's the next one that
Huh?
you missed this one.
How did I miss it? Oh, I flipped. Sorry, I flipped. This is for SG 40.
Yeah.
Annual rate of annual salary 70,551.
Yeah.
There we go. Got it?
Yeah.
Very good.
Motion approved.
First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holmes. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries. All right. Okay, now,
Just one more.
That'll work here somewhere.
yeah, we got one more.
Yep.
Huh?
Did you block all of
Did
it?
you block all the way to 9 through 10? Just bring it in.
We don't, there's only certain ones that come to F and P.
Okay,
The only financial ones.
Only financials
okay.
come to F and P. Okay. Request to set salary for administrative secretary, Aqua. This is, set the salary to $45,652. This has been vetted through, human services, or HR.
Yeah.
Sorry, HR.
Yeah, this is due to retirement as well, and that's filling the position. And note that all of these were specifically on the info memos of set salary to be retroactive according to the date on the info memos. This one is just this past Monday, so it's not too far back. Most of them all go to 1/1 or 1/5 or whatnot, just.
I apologize for not.
Oh, no, that's
including it.
okay. They're all,
But
it's all specific, and we made sure to take care of all that, the retroactive of the salaries. So.
Motion approved.
First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Wilmot. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. On the reporting departments, I'll turn it over to Treasurer Gardner.
Thank you. So everyone should have received the sales tax report that is issued, as well as reserves. But I want to say about the sales tax report, what this does is, as we all know, we made almost $500,000 for the first two checks. So that's when that's pretty comfortable. We're feeling pretty comfortable. It gives us kind of a barometer to keep track of how everything's going, not only just sales tax, but everything else. It kind of follows in line. If you notice last year, we're over $4 million from 24 to 25 in increase in sales tax. So, which is pretty impressive, as I said. So we'll guide through that. The thing I want to mention is this is calendar method. There is an accrual method that the state requires us to do. So what you might see is there might be a report from the comptroller saying, hey, you only made $200,000. Well, some has to be on last year's and some has to be on this year's. And it's a breakdown that goes into February. I'm not going to get into the rabbit hole for that. But so don't be worried if something's reported by the comptroller versus what I show you as calendar. Calendar It's strictly an easy way to look at it, where we sat, and when do we raise our hands going, holy crap, we gotta start looking at stuff. So the sales tax is strong. I gotta say, it's pretty impressive, and hopefully, unlike last year in the middle, it'll keep going up. We'll have a good year. And as far as reserves, this is given to you so that you make sure that that we're not, that we're looking good as far as if the bridge goes out or whatever. This really was useful when we didn't have money because it helped back many years ago to see what we needed to invest in. The county administrator does a great job on moving the money into that, what he thinks is coming up for projects and everything. But it's money that's locked into that reserve. So you gotta remember that you move that money over, it's locked into it. And now, real quick, just to tell you, that's, any questions on sales tax? Go ahead.
Yeah, so between 24 and 25, what we see is the biggest contributing factor to the increase?
Holy cow.
Just off the,
Prices.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you gotta look, NICEX sends out a great
significant jump.
report that shows like oil, like gas, obviously, and sales tax. One of the biggest things that happened was Wayfair Act, which now we get money from internet sales.
Gotcha.
That has exploded and it keeps going up. So
Hold on a minute, I didn't hear that last part, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Okay, so when the Wayfair Act was giving us the sales tax from internet sales. That was a revenue stream that we never had before. Now it's exploded. So every time you go on Amazon, we're getting a portion, That's probably one of the largest ones, but usually NICEX will have a report in about another couple months, probably showing you exactly where the sales tax came. Yep. So, any other questions? I just want to discuss real quick the foreclosure. I did send Betsy the foreclosure list. I don't actually send it out to Reg yet, but that is due the 27th. They have until February 27th to pay. No pay, then we foreclose on the properties.
Kevin, it seemed like it's a good sized list.
It is. It's almost double from previous years.
That's a little scary.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about that is we start the foreclosure then, but I was just notified by my colleague that we have 1,945 foreclosure letters that just went out to more people that go for next year. So we never stop. 1945. That's
not a good sign.
It's not a panic yet. These usually start in the 6,000 and 7,000 range before they get down to little to where we have to start notifying them. And I agree. I don't know if any number's good, right? I mean, you should.
That's a high number, though.
Yeah. So 1,945 foreclosure letters went out for next year. So we're always constantly doing this. It's pretty incredible. So it's unfortunate, but we have to. And real quick, there was one thing, one of my colleagues in another county, actually their team was defrauded of roughly about $3 million, hacked, whatever you want to call it. And I just want to reassure you that the situation there obviously probably won't be discussed. You never announce how people get hacked, and that's a good thing. But I just want to reassure you that we run the system. I can't thank you enough for supporting me with PaymentWorks in 23. That system has proven to be worthy of the investment, and to such point that we're almost done onboarding all the vendors, and with the help of purchasing and the county attorney's office and everything, it's a third set of eyes that. Really, they approve it before it comes to us, before we even issue a check. The story I tell is this: I used to receive two to three checks a week that were forged for some way, some reason. And when we did PaymentWorks, don't ask me why. I had no idea because it really didn't impact a lot. I received none.
Wonderful.
So now tomorrow I'm going to receive probably 20. So I have to say that this company actually vets before and then sends it back to us to make sure that it's right. And as well as we get people calling in, any changes are made through this through PaymentWorks. The interesting thing too is that when, if there is ever a problem, it's $1 million insurance policy per situation. So it's a great tool. I think we still got it for a couple of years. I won't be begging, but I want to tell you, it's okay to put your head on the pillow at night thinking we're good. It's still, I'm sure there's something going to outsmart it somewhere.
Kevin, so with the sheets you gave us, I didn't do a count on that. How many are on that list?
345, I think, somewhere right there.
45. Well, some of those will be pulled back, though.
They have until the 27th, and we'll probably be down, hopefully, to, I hate to say it, the average is around 120.
Would be left.
Chico,
Nope.
you're all set? Okay.
So I just want to mention the payment work situation, and then there were ghost students. Thank you for the county attorney sending me an article about ghost students stealing millions in financial aid from California community colleges. It's an article that you can pull it up online anywhere. It was interesting to see, with our COR process, the validation process requires identification, which probably can be taken, but there's the other class schedules have to be done. There's other qualifications, as well as the college will bill us if the kid's not in the seat. So what was happening out here is, as I say, butts in the seats. I don't think the butts were in the seats because they had waiting lists of whatever it was, 50 students, 50 chairs were open, but the waiting list had 100 students on it, which made no sense. So I just want to reassure you that if you see this, not guaranteed, but the college is doing a super job of vetting before they make us pay, but we're also keeping up with that.
Kevin, just, if you wouldn't mind, because I don't know if Marie had been aware of this since she's new on this. Can you give us just a brief overview of some of the things that you've done since you've been in the treasurer's office to make sure that the community college process, that the people that are coming in, you've refined that process to make certain that they are where they are. And I know it's a couple years old at this point. Did you know anything about that, or have you ever?
I'll make it short.
Well, I have a lot of faith in Kevin. I call him with questions a lot, not on this, but.
Yeah, just real quick, obviously it's the staff, it's not me. We set up a new policy for certificate residency. When I first started, it was a paper that went to the treasurer, they stamped it, threw it kind of in a corner. What I found after doing a deeper dive, we started doing an online process. That's really what I did it for. It wasn't for any other reason. I wanted to be online for students. They're better at operating the phone than I am, than we are, a lot of adults. So we started that, and the first year was 8% were not students from our area. So that really kind of kicked off more and more electronic. So now the COR process was adopted, met with the state for a year or two, and it's been adopted across. Our COR process was modified slightly by the state, and working with them, they did it to all 62 counties, made it required. So it's online, and the billing, some counties don't do that, but the billing is on the backside, and we don't have to worry. You don't have to go, every town is being billed properly now for their students that, if I was Williamstown, I would have been mad. If I was Oswego, I think City of Oswego, I would have been mad because a lot of the kids just write City of Oswego, and guess who gets the bill? Williamstown, they're probably one of the smallest areas, and they had, say, 5 students, but they ended up with 50, or whatever it might have been. So that equaled the whole playing field. And I was very grateful to be able to work for the state on that. And that, I think, helps solve this. We can't have those students, they're not just giving us papers. But thanks. I don't want to go too.
Well, that was huge. That was huge on our part, on your part.
And I think that is it. Oh, we're starting our auditing now, and also our annual financial reporting. So I've been meeting with the auditors. We're getting that set up. It's the auditing time that just go through all the process. So it's all good stuff.
Keep us updated.
Yep.
On to purchasing. Holly?
Okay, I had some year-end reports in the packet. I think everybody saw that.
Yeah.
Something on contracts and also on, I usually do a report like this for the auditors, purchasing department summary. So I thought maybe you'd like to see, it shows POs, requisitions, bids, and RFPs by department. We are getting better I think Veronica and I have been meeting, and our departments have been meeting, and our goal this year is to finally get everybody fully utilizing our computer system. So we've had some holdouts, but we're getting there. And I do want to say, because Nicole is here, she does a fantastic job with our contract management system. I mean, I wish we had more Nicoles. She makes our job a lot easier. So since you're here, I wanted to thank you in front of everybody. Well, then I passed out, so those reports I included. But then I wanted to do some reports up to the end of January. So January is usually our slow month because everybody's just getting back in. We don't have committee meetings or anything like that. So I did a status report about bids and RFPs. And then I enclosed a purchasing statistics report that just again gives you an overview of what we're doing in the county. And then it'll go every month so that you'll get to see a comparison month to month. And then you'll get to see last year's total versus this year's total, just so you have an idea of what we're doing.
Thank you, Holly.
You're welcome.
Personnel?
Good job.
HR. I'm just messing with you. Like,
No,
seriously.
it's okay. So you'll find in your packet that submitted various reports for new committee members here. Statistical information, based on like what exams we're waiting for results, leave of absences reports, and counts by department and employees. And usually the statistical report is the vacancy report. As of this one was run January 16th, and the year-to-date savings as of January 16th was $609,135, and it's a little over 82,000 more than last year at this time. Just we like to kind of keep track of what the cost is, or our vacancies, and or what we have totaling. Also, and if you have any questions whatsoever, you're always welcome to reach out to my office. Also, next week, I volunteered our services to host a regional forum that New York State Civil Services giving for surrounding counties. And I don't think you know Marie, but I'm on the New York State Association of Personnel and Civil Service Officers Executive Board, so I kind of volunteered our services locally here to utilize our police academy room that we have. It's a great facility to use, so we have probably 40 people coming from various jurisdictions surrounding us, and state MSC will be there, and they're going to go over 3 of the main topics right now that they're wanting to discuss with us personnel officers, as the police recruitment and the New York State Helps Program, and also training and experience exams. And also they're going to be rolling out, hopefully this year, is the whole new exam transformation process. So be a lot of questions and answers, and good topics to cover there. So that's next week.
Excellent.
Mhm.
So you can give us an update on that?
Yeah.
next month?
Yeah.
Very good. Bill?
Thank you. I already gave everybody lots of paperwork to read through, so I'm not going to go through everything. I'll just do a couple of things I wanted to highlight. The first is this county impact analysis from NISAC projecting the proposed state budget's impact on counties. And it's a very boring read, and that's a good thing, because this is what's been proposed by the governor is really a do no harm budget proposal, where we're not going to see a lot of cost shifts to us from the state or additional mandates. How much of this actually gets passed is going to be up to the legislature. There is one thing that I did want to point out, because I don't even know if it's in here. I have been working with our agents in Albany to modify language in the distribution formula for radiological planning. We're trying to get it into the state budget to fix the formula, which is very unfair right now. That language didn't get in, but they did put in a new fund into the proposed state budget. Actually two, $1.5 million fund and a $3 million fund. And part of the descriptive language of that is to help fund radiological planning at the local level. So I think maybe our efforts paid off a bit because they may not want to change the distribution formula permanently right now because they don't know what communities they're going to pick for new nuclear facilities or how many of them. But basically, what this was is there is a formula in state law that says every owner of a nuclear reactor has to put in $1 million into this fund per reactor. And for many years, that was a $5 million fund. That fund, state keeps half of it for their purposes. The other half they distribute by formula to the counties that have emergency planning zones because of the presence of a nuclear reactor. So we were getting a certain percentage of that based on our population. We always thought that that was a bad formula because we have 75% of reactors in the state, but we're only getting 20% of the money to help Catherine's department prepare us for the worst. Problem is with the forced closure of Indian Point, that there's no longer that $1 million coming into the fund from Indian Point. So it dropped from a $5 million fund to a $4 million fund. And since it was a percentage formula, that was going to reduce the amount of money we receive. So this is what I've been working with the state to try to fix. I don't have confirmation yet, but I believe this proposed new funds are in there in part to help make up the difference between what we were receiving and what we'd received by formula now. So we're going to work on verifying that that's what that's for. So that's a bit of good news there. So take a read through this. If you have any questions as to how it may impact us, let me know. I'll find out for you. But again, overall, this particular executive budget that's proposed doesn't do much damage to the counties. It's a very benign. You can say you can attribute it to good governance, or you can contribute it to an election year. I don't know which one you want. But fairly, maintains the Medicaid cap, which is always our fear that the state take that away. So as the state budget progresses through its process, and with the legislature, I'll keep the committee up to date on anything that I learned, particularly anything that might affect us. Onto the monthly report. This is actually 2 months worth. This is December and January, since there's no January meeting. I'll just go over a couple of things. You all know we passed the budget, so we don't have to go over that. On the nuclear matter of are we going to get a nuclear plant? We did submit to the state our proposal, our interest in being selected as a host site for additional nuclear facilities. The governor announced at her State of the State. She had originally said we were going to build 1 gigawatt of new nuclear at the State of the State. She said, that's not going to be enough. Our target is 5 gigawatts. That would be the equivalent of 5 full-size reactor plants. 9 Mile Point has room for 2. And Constellation, the owner of that land, and the operators we have out there now are interested, and they also submitted their proposal to the state. So we've been working with them, with our agents in Albany to lobby and keep in front of NYPA and the governor our interest in being selected as one of the sites for new builds. I attended the State of the State, so I got to hear that announcement, and then I stood in line with the governor and reiterated to her personally our interest in this. And playing things close to her vest, but she was smiling and recognized that it was good. We'll put it that way. Also, on the nuclear front, that's important to us is we've been advocating for renewal of what's called the ZEC program, Zero Emission Carbon Credits. This is a carbon credit program that is beneficial to nuclear reactors and helps them meet their bottom line. To renew that through 2049 is important to us because it means our Constellation can move forward on relicensing our local plant, 2 of our local plants, supports the operation of our current fleet, and makes it more viable for new construction as well. On to other budgetary matters, under the work I've been doing with NISAC. We did have a meeting with State Office, OTDA, Office of Temporary Disability Assistance. And it was about what they see coming down the pike due to changes in federal policy that affect Medicaid and SNAP, or what's commonly called food stamps. Their estimate is the impact to Oswego County will be about, and assuming the changes are made at the federal level and the costs of those are shifted entirely to counties, the impact to us would be about $800,000 a year. We've already accommodated $200,000 of that because these don't go into effect until the last quarter of this year. So next year might be, if OTDA is right, a $600,000 impact. That would be the minimal, assuming on the shift. Although asked directly on this call, which was with all the counties in the state, about what's the state going to buffer? Are they going to assume any of this? They were non-committal about it. They know it's an issue. I've got another meeting on this next week with them, but the cost shift related to this is the least of my worries. My worry is the state's error rate. The way this was set up is states with a high error rate in the application as people apply for this. The federal government set a threshold that if your error rate is above a certain percentage, then you're penalized by the federal government. New York State's error rate is so high above the threshold that they could produce a $1.2 billion penalty onto the state. And again, the state was non-committal as to whether they're going to pass any of that along to the counties. So my question has been, and I've asked NISAC to find out, is there any calculation of a county-by-county error rate? Because I don't feel that if the counties are violating or above these thresholds, those counties ought to be held harmless from this. And counties should not be held to this penalty if, say, it's New York City that's got such a high error rate that's making all states' error rate above. State's error rate is 14.1%, and I think the penalties begin once you're 4% or above. So more to come on that. If we can get how this error rate is calculated, is there a county-by-county rate? Then we can move forward with maybe lobbying and some campaigning with federal officials to make this county-by-county thing rather than a statewide penalty. I think the previous committee I reported on DSS. As you know, DSS had a problem with the water line last week. Only had to close one day, the day it was discovered. Continuity of operations plan were put in place so we could continue services. Just had to close the building to the public, but all the services can still be provided remotely. We moved employees to other departments, moved them around inside the building to areas that had heat. DSS, IT, B&G did a great job implementing that program and that plan. They deserve some commendation for that. Also, the other departments that took in DSS employees so they could continue their work. This will be submitted to insurance. Hopefully insurance will cover a lot of this. But as of yesterday, the building was fully operational again and reopened to the public. We've also met recently, ironically, the day before the snowstorm, with HR and Kathy, emergency management, looking at a way to improve our ability to notify employees and county officials of delays and closures on the rare occasion that happens. We don't like to close. when there's an emergency, the public relies on the government, so we should stay open as much as possible. But sometimes when it gets as bad as it did here in Oswego, and it's unsafe to have people come to work or unsafe to have public in the buildings, sometimes we've got to make that decision. We're working on a new policy to improve that decision-making process to make it quicker in the morning so that we're not announcing a closure as people are trying to get to work through a storm. One of the things we're looking at and testing out in 2 departments is using WebEOC, which is an emergency management platform that EMO uses. It has the ability to, if we input everybody's contact information, we can get a text, email, phone call out to employees immediately. One of the things we're looking at is, because there's not always perfect information early in the morning as to what the day is going to look like, is being able to institute a way to delay openings, giving myself and the chairman and the sheriff and the highway superintendent time to get more information in, where we can get a delay out to employees and say, you don't have to report till 10 or 11 while we assess. That way it keeps everybody safe at home. And they're not trying to get to work while we're trying to make a decision. Like Julie getting stuck twice.
I was on the phone with the chairman, stuck twice.
Yeah.
Kind of like the school
Yeah.
closings, when you get a
Yeah.
call that there's a 2-hour delay or 1 hour delay or whatever.
And as you know, we were talking about this, Phil and I were talking about this earlier. As we all know, the minute you get that information out, it's also broadcast to the news, so it'll be streaming. And I wholeheartedly agree with the delay or report at time in case there needs to be a change.
So Julie and I are working on a policy that we'll bring back to this committee.
And I'm one of the departments that are being tested, health department and myself, our department, so my employees are all set up. And utilizing our time management system, the employee self-service, they're able to go in and enter our personal phone numbers and emails. So I believe next Tuesday, I got the email that we're going to be testing that out. So 10 o'clock next Tuesday, we're testing out the notification system.
As long as everybody knows they really do have to communicate.
Yeah. No, I told them it's a test. We're already here.
I think that
Also, we go every year to emergency management and we work on our COOP plans.
Right.
Mhm.
And like in my department, we all have laptops. We have a COOP plan in place. So wouldn't a severe snowstorm where we have to close be a good time? I mean, if it's like in one area we can't go, we can go work somewhere else.
Mhm.
We could utilize that too.
Well, one of the problems last week was, I finally finished snow blowing out my driveway at 1:30 in the afternoon, but it didn't do me any good because the streets hadn't been plowed yet. So even being able to get, so this is also raises the question of, how much remote work do we want to authorize? And there's a draft policy on that too that we're trying to find, so that they dovetail.
With the forethought in mind of a possible issue that the system could say, hey, get set on the information. If you have the ability to work from home, if you have the authorization to work from home, please bring home your necessary equipment. Should there be an issue, there's ways that they're looking at working on doing this. And I applauded it. Come to find out, this policy was 30
years old.
1990.
1990.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that needed to be revisited
Yeah.
and revamped, and it'll come back to us at the time that they get it all put together.
I just wanted to say that, I know we get calls at the house at 5:45 from City BOCES that
Yeah.
says it's a phone call. It's not a text or an email.
Mhm.
It's like City BOCES is on a 1 hour or 2 hour, whatever. So it's early. So you can really prepare. But
Yeah,
if you do an email, I'm not going to see an email at 5:45, but the phone ringing, I'm jumping out of bed.
Well,
That's what we're
I
gonna
can
do.
I can honestly say, obviously, most of you all know I still have children in school, so I get a text, a text message, a call, and an email, all within the same couple of minutes. Gavin knows, You know, Kevin Pooley, he still has, so he knows. We get this information sent to us instantaneously, usually between 4 and 5:30 in the morning. Sometimes it pushes out a little bit if the storm comes in a little late. So I think this system that you guys are talking about is going to be extremely valuable.
And lastly, I just wanted to call your attention, kudos to Veronica and her audit team. Nearly 3,000 vouchers audited and made sure they were right. We're over 23 million, almost 24 million dollars for those 2 months. So it's a busy department. You're doing a great job. Yeah, on top of getting the budget and tax rates.
I don't know. One more, the only thing I'm gonna throw out there, before I accept the appropriate motion, hats off to our highway departments throughout the county, not just ours, but all of them. They've all been out there, they've all been working, and they're getting it done. I drive into the city daily. God, let me tell you, I wish our people were out there. That's all I can say.
Funny enough, Sean's son was one of the police officers that were helping me get out. And then, so I was texting Sean, because I've known Tyler, so I texted him, he's like, do you need help? Because he even offered to come help me, so.
Yeah, no, it was pretty bad. I mean, I saw pictures, I got information, you know, I was brought up to speed, saying, hey, we got a problem. So, you know, let's get everybody safe. Just have to keep everybody safe. So again, I wanted to put it out to not just the county workers, they're fantastic, but to all the towns as well that are working to help us keep everything. They do a phenomenal job. So having said that,
Like a motion to adjourn.
I have a first and a second from Legislator Conley. All in favor? Any opposed? Carries, thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend.